Welcome back. Migrants stranded in France are determined to cross the channel to reach Britain despite a tragedy that killed 27 people. French and British leaders, meanwhile, clashed over who bears more responsibility for the migrant crisis. Here's Winnie Wong.
Hundreds of people holding candles gathered in the French city of Calais last night. They were paying tribute to 27 migrants who drowned in waters off the coast as they tried to cross the English Channel in an inflatable dinghy. The only 2 survivors are in hospital with severe hypothermia. But even the risk of death has not deterred the desperate migrants from making the dangerous journey to reach their dream destination. Dozens remain in Calais, despite several failed attempts to cross to Britain. In the English coastal town of Dover, a group of luckier migrants were seen boarding a bus after arriving successfully in their dinghies. With relations already frayed over Brexit and fishing, the tragedy has also brought on new tensions between Britain and France. There's finger-pointing all around as both governments blame each other and smugglers for what happened. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson posted a letter he wrote to the French president onto Twitter. In it, he asked France and other European nations to do more to patrol their borders and suggested returning migrants who've successfully crossed to break the business model of criminal gangs. This sparked an angry response from Emmanuel Macron, who criticized Johnson for trying to negotiate publicly through Twitter and told him to get serious. Macron promptly retracted an invitation for British Home Secretary Priti Patel to join talks in Calais on Sunday to discuss the migrant crisis. Winnie Wong, HKIBC.
An explosion in a coal mine in Russia has killed more than 50 people in the country's worst mining tragedy in a decade. Survivors of the disasters in southwestern Siberia, including miners and rescuers, were rushed to hospital. Nearly 300 people were inside the mine when the coal dust caught fire and smoke filled the ventilation system. Some miners suffocated when a leak triggered a methane gas explosion. The regional mining director and 2 senior managers were detained on suspicion of safety breaches. Regional stock markets ended in negative territory today, with investors nervous about a new COVID mutation. Hong Kong's main benchmark tumbled to a 7-week low. Johanna Chan reports.
The Hang Seng Index slumped 2.7% today, closing at its lowest in 7 weeks amid fears of an infectious new coronavirus variant. Property firms were again in the spotlight, with Evergrande tumbling 10.4%. This came as a government body took over its football stadium in Guangzhou, as the mainland developer continued to scramble to meet $300 billion worth of repayments. The company is also considering selling the Guangzhou Football Club, which it owns. Tech giants also went south as mainland regulators floated new rules over internet advertising. Alibaba dropped 4.7% and food delivery platform Meituan fell 3.9%. Tencent gave up 3% lower. The tech titan suffered a setback when regulators ordered it to stop rolling out new apps while they review whether the Shenzhen-based firm has complied with new privacy laws. 9 of its products were previously found to have violated data protection laws, and all new apps and updates this year will be screened by regulators before being made available. Mainland and neighboring markets also retreated because of fears of the new COVID strain. The Shanghai Composite lost 0.6%. Markets in neighboring Japan closed at their lowest in 5 months, with the Nikkei 225 giving up 2.5%, while the Topix index slid 2%. In Australia, the ASX 200 lost 1.7%, closing at a 2-month low. And South Korea's Kospi ended down 1.5%, the lowest in 2 weeks. Johanna Chan, HKIBC.
Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng closed down almost 660 points. Top 10 active stocks are in the red today. Tencent down $14.40, Meituan down $10.60, and Kuaishou down $7.85. Xiaomi down 52 cents, Ping An down $1.90, and AIA down $2.90. Foreign exchange trading against Hong Kong dollar, euro trading at 8.79, British pound trading at 10.39, Australian dollar at 5.56. And over in the UK, the FTSE 100 is down 188 points. The commissioner of the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Hong Kong says Beijing is determined to open up the Greater Bay Area to foreign investment.
Whatever the international situation evolves, we will not change our resolve to open wider at high standard. We will not change our determination to share development opportunities with the world. And we will not change our commitment to an economic globalization that is more open, inclusive, balanced, and beneficial for all.
Regulators in Beijing have reportedly told ride-hailing firm Didi Global to delist from the New York Stock Exchange. Concerns about data security were behind the request, according to sources. Regulators are worried that sensitive information would be leaked. Didi's shares have plunged 42% since it went public in June. The firm angered Beijing when it pressed ahead with its New York listing, despite a plea to wait until a cybersecurity review was completed. In Hong Kong, sports enthusiasts had to wait to get tickets to see visiting mainland Olympians after the ticketing site crashed this morning. Bookings started at 10 a.m., but there was a huge hold-up due to the number of people using the site. The tickets, at $20 each, can only be ordered online, but some elderly people showed up at the Shun Wan Town Hall to try to buy tickets, only to be turned away. Badminton, gymnastics and table tennis events are slated for Saturday morning at the Queen Elizabeth Stadium, while swimming events will be held at Victoria Park. A pizza chain in Thailand is making headlines with its latest topping, Cannabis, but diners are told not to expect a kick.
Of course, they cannot get high. It's just a marketing campaign, and you can taste the cannabis taste, and then if you have it enough, you maybe get a bit sleepy.
A sprig of cannabis adorns the top of each pizza. There's also cannabis-infused cheese in the crust and chopped cannabis in the dipping sauce. But THC, the ingredient that gives a high, is missing. Earlier this year, Thailand allowed the controlled use of cannabis in food and drink. Moving on to the weather now. Tomorrow will be mainly fine and dry with a temperature between 19 and 24 degrees. It will remain pleasant for the next few days before becoming chilly again in the middle of next week. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Friday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Amelie. Thank you for watching. Good night.